Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and here is my Week 1 battle for the BBL, the Bandless Battlers League. We're going up against JB Westside and his Arkansas Razorwinds. Now I'm going to try and go through this relatively quickly. You can probably tell I don't sound 100%. I'm like really stuffy in my nose, in my head. I feel very achy. I just finished a week's worth of travel for work, and it was very productive, but I am definitely feeling drained, and so I did want to get this battle up for you guys, of course, and it is definitely a very good one. I think you will enjoy it. I'm going to do the team builder and then hop straight on into the battle. Big thanks to the front office, as always, for helping out with the team building. Jake, as always, the Confusion, Ultra Player, Bronson, Omega Jolteon, Phantom Base, and Skyrander. And a big thanks to AA Round 2 for 20 for recording my battle. His info will be down in the description, of course. And yeah, let's break down this roster that our buddy JB Westside has. So he has Palkia, Celesteela, Mega Gallade, Rotom Heat, Mamoswine, Alolan Persian, Florges, Uxie, what's that thing called? Komala, Crustle, Vileplume, and Whaleren. So a lot of major threats. Gallade, I think, is the scariest thing overall, just because it outspeeds the majority of my team, and the one thing on my team that does outspeed it is weak to that thing's best stab move, being close combat. So it's definitely a major threat. Celesteela is also a little scary. Potential setup set can get out of hand, and I think he can probably get by with enough coverage move. It does get Earthquake, it does get Flamethrower to hit my Steel types, and then he could pretty realistically just run Flash Cannon for his third attacking move, and then that would leave a fourth slot available for Autotomize. Luckily, he doesn't have Z-move access, so he can't take advantage of that with his Celesteela. So it's like it would be a little bit harder for him to get the ball rolling. But yeah, once the thing starts getting boosts, it's potentially very, very scary. Palkia is definitely spooky. I have some good ways to deal with it, I would say. Mamoswine's definitely spooky. Luckily, my team, I think, is just fairly offensive in nature, so I can kind of deal with it. But, like, you know, something like Garchomp, which would outspeed it and would normally have an easy time dealing with a slower threat, is obviously vulnerable to Mamoswine's Ice Shard, so I have to be very mindful of that. Other than that, like, his team actually has a bit of fat. Like, I'm definitely expecting Uxie to come to be his response to Medicham. Florges, I think, is fairly likely, because he doesn't have a better way to deal with Arceus. His Dark Resists are kind of lacking, I would say, so that's something that we're going to try and take advantage of in our team build here. And speaking of which, let's just jump right on into the first set, Arceus Dark, Subcalm Mind. This is meant to take advantage of Pokemon like Uxie, like Vileplume, who might like to deal with Arceus by spreading status. So, like Stun Spore on Vileplume, Thunder Wave on Uxie, we can dodge those moves with Substitute. And then they're going to have a hard time breaking our sub, just because we're so naturally bulky, but if we do set up a Calm Mind, it's going to make it even harder. Because, like, if he wants to pack something like Signal Beam on Uxie, or, you know, just one of the stab moves on Vileplume, with a +1, there's almost no chance that he's going to be able to break his sub that way. Sludge Bomb is there to hit Florges and the Persian. Doesn't hit Persian super effectively, obviously, but Persian's not that great on the Spadef side. It's only decent on the physical side if it's rocking the Fur Coat ability. Otherwise, it's not that great of a mon for dealing with special threats. And then we put just enough speed on this thing for Gallade. I didn't want to try and outspeed Persian. I didn't think it was worth it. If he's going to bring Persian, I don't necessarily think it'll be max attack, or sorry, max speed. And even if it is, Persian, again, just doesn't really threaten Arceus. To help set up our Arceus, we do have a Medicham with Baton Pass. We're macking max attack, max speed, just so that we can speed type potentially with max speed Palkia. Nothing special about the moveset, dual stabs plus Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch could be nice for like Gallade, assuming that it's not like a bulk up set. Like if we can get in range of Bullet Punch, that would be pretty nice for us. That's really the only reason that it's there. I was potentially going to put like Toxic on this set to try and hit an incoming Uxie, but again, if I can Baton Pass on an incoming Uxie, that puts me in good position with my Arceus. So that's definitely fine with me. Next up, we have a Choice Scarf Xatu. This is going to be my one of my ways of dealing with Gallade. I can switch in on either of its stab moves and then hit it back with an Air Slash. Air Slash should 2-hit KO. This EV spread, I think Ice Punch does a 101% maximum, and I am expecting Ice Punch over something like Knockoff because he does want something to hit my Garchomp as hard as possible. Besides that, I thought Trick Roost would be pretty useful on Xatu, so that way I can trick Celesteela, okay, if he wants to go for a Totemize. Trick versus Celesteela is very safe because, like I said, it is not a Z-move Celesteela, so pretty much no matter what, I should be able to trick it, unless he puts like a Mega Crystal or something really cheeky on it. And then Heat Wave is there to hit that thing. Yeah, Roost just is for that longevity in case I need to deal with the Gallade, so... not much else to say there. We outspeed a Modest or Adamant Celesteela with this set. Next up, we do have Primarina with a Wakan Berry. This is my primary way of dealing with the Palkia, because it's definitely a scary threat versus my team. I suppose in a pinch, this can also deal with the Rotom. I guess Rotom most of the time is going to be Volt Switching on me, so it's not that amazing. I can't, like, take a Thunderbolt. I mean, I could take a Thunderbolt, but I doubt that he'll run Thunderbolt. He'll just run Volt Switch. But yeah, like basically if I need to, I guess I can take a hit. Rotom is a little bit spooky versus my team. But yeah, otherwise, like, Primarina is definitely hard for him to switch into, besides, like, Vileplume. For that case, we do have the Ice Beam, if he wants to switch that in versus my Primarina. So yeah, basically, mostly a check to Palkia, but also still applies plenty of offensive pressure if needed. Next, we do have a Sugar Berry Heatran. This is another way for me to deal with Celesteela, and also to a lesser extent Mamoswine. Like, if it's, like, Jolly Choice Band or something, then we're not going to survive an Earthquake anyway. We might be able to survive Jolly Life Orb. If he's Adamant, we actually outspeed Adamant Mamoswine with this spread. So we can knock it out in one hit with Flash Cannon, unless it's something weird, like Assault Vest or something like that. But otherwise, pretty standard moveset, Stealth Rock, Toxic, Fire Blast. Fire-type attacks are actually pretty good versus his team. Like Palkia, that's obviously the main thing that can deal with it. Palkia actually deals with the set pretty nicely, which is a little unfortunate. But I digress. Heatran is, going to be setting up rocks and hopefully luring in some of his bulky things so we can Toxic them. And then last but not least, we do have a Rocky Helmet Garchomp with a lot of defense investment. I guess the defense investment is a little superfluous because we have Endure on this set. So Endure is going to help us deal massive amounts of damage to Gallade. If he is, like, rocking a Sword Stance set, or even if he's not a Sword Stance set, he'll probably go for Ice Punch versus us. I can go for Endure, do Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, and then I'll survive on 1 HP, so he'll have to hit me again, and I'll do Rough Skin Rocky Helmet once again. And that'll allow me to knock it out in one hit with my Xatu with Air Slash. Xatu's Air Slash does like 50% minimum to Gallade. I can't remember if I calc that for max HP Gallade or for no attack. Sorry, no HP Gallade. But regardless, Rough Skin Rocky Helmet does like 2/3 of the opponent's HP basically, so it'll easily be in range even if he's like max HP, max Spadef. But yeah, otherwise, I want this Pokemon as well to be able to outspeed a non-Choice Scarf Palkia and take it out with Outrage. The 44 attack EVs allow us to do just that, to one-shot a non-HP invested Palkia. Earthquake's there for the stab move, and then Fire Blast is there just so Celesteela can't totally set up on us for free, because it does sort of deal with us pretty easily otherwise. So that, ladies and gents, is the team. Now let's go ahead and look at team preview here. And as you can see, JB Westside has opted to bring his Mamoswine, his Gallade, his Uxie, his Vileplume, his Palkia, and his Rotom Heat. So no Celesteela is the big surprise right off the bat. I'm not going to complain, though. I'm pretty relieved that I don't have to deal with that thing at all. Gallade is there, definitely expected that. Mamoswine. Uxie should be his defensive answer for Medicham, and to a lesser extent, something like Garchomp. Because it does have that levitate ability, making it immune to my Earthquakes. And then my alternate stab move, like I guess Dragon Claw in most cases isn't going to be doing a ton of damage. I do have the Outrage, in my case, so I should be able to do a little bit of extra damage to the Uxie in theory. Vileplume is there presumably to deal with Primarina. And then Palkia is there just because it's a huge threat with base 150 special attack, and then Rotom is also there. It's like a good Heatran answer. I guess it could be a good Chomp answer depending on the spread, and it's a decent check to Xatu as well. So, in terms of lead matchup, I actually like Medicham quite a lot, just because it pressures pretty much everything on the team not named Uxie. And I guess Medicham, or sorry, Gallade to an extent doesn't really care that much about Medicham, but I'm not sure that Gallade can one-shot Medicham, and I think it's pretty likely that AZ Headbutt could do a chunk of damage to the Gallade. So even Gallade isn't really an amazing matchup for him, so it's really just the Uxie. And even if he does lead Uxie, I can just Baton Pass out into something like my Heatran, or even my Xatu. Xatu is pretty safe versus it because I can bounce back his rocks. I can resist the Psychic type attack if he chooses to go for that. If he wants to go for a status move like Toxic or Thunder Wave, I can bounce that back as well. So, yeah, I guess sort of Gallade would be a mixed bag. Uxie, I think, is even okay. So, that's the thought process. We are going to lead with the Medicham. And with that said, let's wish good luck, have fun, click play, and see how this battle shakes down. So, it's week 1. Definitely looking forward to this battle and this whole season. I'm hoping to start it off on the right foot, and we're going to do our best to make that happen. So out comes Hawkfu, our Mega Medicham, and then he is going to lead with his Mamoswine, his Rang Romano, top tier nickname for sure. But this is kind of the matchup that I wanted, because unless he's Scarf, he's definitely going to be threatened out by my Medicham, and so I'm just going to take this as an opportunity to Mega Evolve and then click Baton Pass, because then I can go... I could go into my Arceus. Like, the crazy thing is that he didn't bring a single Dark Resist. So on paper, I should be able to, like, pretty easily sweep with Arceus. What I want to do is, I want to try and get a little bit of chip damage on some Pokemon first, like, in case it's like a bulky Gallade or a bulky Palkia or things like that. And I also want to scout the moveset on this Uxie. Because I want to be pretty sure that if I set up a substitute versus this thing, I'm going to be safe. So I did decide to go into my Heatran before doing anything else, because it's going to be very safe versus this Uxie, and I can also go for my rocks. I actually outspeed it, which is good to know. It more or less confirms that it's a max Fizz Def Uxie with no speed. But he's going to be able to go right on into his Gallade, which is not an amazing situation for me. I'm going to go right on into Xatu, because if he wants to go for that close combat, I'm going to take it with ease. And if he wants to go for a setup move, then I should be able to hit it up with an Air Slash and put it in range of dying to Rough Skin Rocky Helmet on Garchomp. But he actually goes for a sub, which is a really nice move on his part. Sub is really scary. It forces me to stay in here and throw off an Air Slash to break the sub, and it reveals my Scarf, of course. But it puts me in a bad situation because I'm not literally forced to stay in here and click Air Slash, but I'm not that inclined to do anything different. And it gives him a very safe switch out here, and he's going to bring in his Rotom, which is going to take the Air Slash rather easily. So it takes the 25% from Rocks, takes the Air Slash. This is one of those situations where you wish that you could be on Showdown rather than on Wi-Fi, because then I could more easily determine this thing's set. Because I don't know how much HP investment it has, or if it's Fizz Def or Spadef, or if it has attack investment just based on the little bit that bar dropped. I go to Garchomp because I obviously resist the dual stabs, and I'm going to make a little bit of a risky play and throw off the Outrage. And I'm going to wind up in a pretty much worst case scenario, because not only do I not kill it, I proc his Iapa Berry, and he's going to be able to throw off a Will-O-Wisp versus me, totally crippling my Garchomp. And so, even though I could still do damage to something like Gallade with Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, it's a little scary. Like, if he's like a sub bulk up set, which would be a little bit it'd be a little bit hard for him to have sub plus a setup move. But if he were a set like that, I might not be able to break his subs with the Earthquake or the Outrage, and so it puts him in a much better position. Even though I could do like the Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, like if he's able to keep up that sub, it doesn't really matter how much damage I do with Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. But anyway, his Uxie comes in, is able to deal Rocky Helmet damage to my Garchomp. Good to know that this thing is Rocky Helmet, not something like Culper Berry. I'm gonna go to my Primarina. I don't really have anything else that I want to switch in on this Uxie without knowing a little bit more about its moveset. And he's just going to go for a U-turn and go on into his Vileplume. I should have seen this coming. He didn't have another switch into Primarina besides Vileplume. And this definitely looks to be Spadef of some nature. It's actually, I'm going to find out in the post-match that this is an Assault Vest Vileplume. So really nice bring. He can pack something like Giga Drain to give him some recovery that he would be missing from Strength Sap or Black Sludge or something like that. Then, on paper, he's going to make a nice double here and go into his Mamoswine, expecting my Heatran switch in. Little does he know that I have enough speed to outspeed an Adamant Mamoswine. If he was Jolly, I'll be honest, there's a pretty decent chance that we would have lost our Heatran there, because we did take that Stealth Rock's damage. You know, even though we were Shuka-Berry, I guess if he wasn't Life Orb, then we would have survived relatively well. I found out later that it was Natural Gift Fire to hit the Scizor that I have on my roster, so really nice prep on his part. Just unfortunately didn't pay off for him. He wasn't expecting the Heatran to be speedy, and able to get that Mamoswine out of the way very early, so I think it's a major threat. Palkia comes in, threatens out my Heatran. I'm going to go straight into Prim, and he's going to predict that and go for a T-Bolt. I do the calc, and if assuming that he's max special attack, it's pretty likely that I'm going to die here. I'm hoping maybe he doesn't realize that and switches out into his Vileplume or something, but he doesn't do that. He makes the smart play, stays in with the T-Bolt. And now I'm going to go into Garchomp. Go into Garchomp because if I throw off an Outrage, I'll do about 50% damage to it. And then he should be able to kill me with a Dragon-type move. That doesn't put me in too bad of a situation, actually. Because then I could potentially go into Medicham, click Baton Pass, and get into the Arceus. Like, now that the Palkia has a little bit of chip damage on it. As played, he goes into his Uxie, and I'm going to be locked into Outrage. And this actually works out perfectly with the combination of Rocky Helmet damage to myself, burn damage to myself, the foul play that comes out of this Uxie. I am going to end up going down, and now I have a chance to get in my Arceus for free. So we've seen 3 moves on this thing. We've seen Foul Play, U-Turn, and Stealth Rock. I'm betting that the last move is Thunder Wave, and so I am going to throw off the sub here. Even if it's Signal Beam, the fact that he's almost certainly got no special attack investment, or in fact he might even be minus special attack, means that he cannot break my sub. And so he does reveal the T-Wave to be that 4th move. I'm going to throw off a Calm Mind here. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is GG. Like, I guess there's potentially some situations where he could have put himself back into a winning situation. But you're going to see here that the U-Turn doesn't even break my sub. And so, regardless of what he goes into here, I'm going to be able to get off another Calm Mind. Which is really nice. He chooses to go into his Rotom. I set up a second Calm Mind here. I know that this Rotom's not Choice Scarf, it was Iapa Berry, so there's no way that he's going to be able to you know, get off a fast Volt Switch on me. He is just going to go for the slow Volt Switch, and with that U-turn damage from the turn before, it is going to be just enough to break my substitute. But now I'm looking great. Like, it's just Vileplume, which is looking to be AV or some kind of Spadef set, but at +2, we should be able to still take it out. This Gallade, it looks to be max attack, probably max speed, no HP or Spadef investment, so this Judgment's definitely going to take it out. The Uxie, of course, is going to get obliterated by Judgment. All that leaves is the Palkia, which is at max HP, which is a little scary. So depending upon what sort of set he is, he could take a hit from us. But it's actually going to turn out that this Palkia is a Choice Scarf set. And so it could have happened that if he crit with this Aura Sphere here, that we might have not gotten the sweep off. But we were able to survive thanks to our +2 Spadef boost. And we're going to be able to annihilate that Palkia, send it back to the Shadow Realm. And yeah, now it's just Vileplume that's left, and Uxie. And what's the other Mon? Vileplume, Uxie, and Rotom, I guess. So yeah, Rotom is still in the back. And so we're going to end up with a 4-0 dub on the backs of a 5-kill performance from Arceus Dark. So I was very happy that we were able to get ourselves into this position. It was pretty much how I drew it up in prep, trying to get the Arceus in on something that we can take advantage of very easily. So that was really great. You know, I'm not saying that this is the set I'm going to bring every week, but this is kind of, yeah, this is like what I had in mind when I drafted the team. Try and take advantage of passive Mons and get free setup moves versus them, especially if they're Psychic or Ghost types. So, yeah, GG to JB Westside. We're going to advance to 1-0. And in week 2, we're going to go up against an old friend. We're going to go up versus Max Rapture, coach of the Tasmanian Toxicroaks. And I'm really hoping to catch a dub in that game. He and I haven't faced off since P4G Next Generation. And so it'll be nice to get back in the ring versus him. I hope it's a good one. If you guys are looking forward to that match, make sure you drop a like and leave a sub so you can stay up to date on all my latest and greatest Pokemon and gaming action. So until the next time, I will see you guys later.